moving on to a guy I think I am the only one who's brave enough to rank at number 3. And honestly, I'm a little bit disappointed with myself because I originally had this guy ranked number 2. Amarian Hampton balled out at the combine, so I had to bump him up a little bit. But the number 3 running back in this class, and I don't think it's particularly close, a whole new tier ahead of everybody else we've talked about. It's the nature boy. It's Cam Skattebo. This guy is unbelievable. He's a wrecking ball. I've never seen players bounce off of him like he's the Incredible Hulk. You know what I'm saying? That would be my player comp to him. He's an exciting white. He's from California. And I have a theory on this, and maybe I wish we had NFL insider James Brewer here to shed some light on the subject. California guy, liberal studies major, which, of course sounds like you're studying like girls with blue hair or whatever, but it's just like the easiest major you can have. He only had one offer coming out of high school, despite him running for 3,550 yards and 42 touchdowns, leading his team to a state championship in California. He had one D1 offer to Sacramento State. I wonder why. Maybe because Cam Skattebo, he's a nature boy. You know what he's not? A books and math boy. Okay? This guy stinks at school, and I am convinced that is why he didn't have any offers coming out of college, and he had to transfer to the academic powerhouse, Arizona State, where he led the boys to a pretty good little run. He did jump. He jumped a 3.5 or 38.5 inch vertical, did not run the 40. So, Caleb Johnson probably would have been bumped up a notch if Cam would have run the 40. He's got speed. He's got some pretty decent long speed. I think one thing that everyone's talking about that we're counting down on Cam Skattebo, we're not counting against Genty, because Genty he's got long speed, but he's getting run down from behind by some defensive backs in some not so good teams that he's been playing against. So Travion Henderson's the only one with really true elite long speed in this draft class, I think. But we've seen guys like him, like David Montgomery, Joe Mixon. I think he comes in and just earns a spot on the team. It's going to be really fun watching this guy because I think he's going to go probably second, third round. It's going to be so fun watching this guy in preseason. We're going to have a great time watching these running backs just demolish some insurance salesmen in the preseason. What's your thoughts on Cam Skattebo? Did I rank him too low? Should I have him number 2?
I think he should be top 5. I don't know where in that top 5 he should be, because I think that'll all, as private workouts get held, will shake itself out. My comp to him is James Conner, just because James Conner, when he was in college, ran the same way, just absolute bull, like absolutely, like if it's 4th and 1, you're gonna almost have to be off sides to get him down, and he may still run you over, like he may still get by you, like he is absolutely he has that dog in him, is the best way I can describe it. Like he is an absolute passion player. Like he's definitely going to be a guy that coaches will have to kind of keep steady on the sideline, just because I think he's a high energy. They cut away from him in certain times. I think they cut away from him in the title game because they were showing signs of a possible concussion, and then he tried to back out there. And so they were kind of like, maybe we shouldn't show him on the sidelines, because he was like throwing up whatever after a drive. And some were saying that's a sign of a concussion, but he was just nope.
He does have a little bit of it's not a tick. He did get interviewed about it, but he said in high school, his helmet didn't fit right. So he'd always check it by shaking his head. So he's always shaking his head when he's on the sideline or in between plays. So that's not a concussion sign. So maybe that has something to do with it. Important note, 5'9.5" inches. He was listed at 5'11" for Arizona State. Did weigh in at 219. So big, thick lad, big hands too, 9 3/8. He ran for 1,711 yards on 293 attempts. So 5.8 yards per attempt, 21 touchdowns for Arizona State. So you want to talk about volume? Let's talk about volume. 44 receptions as well, 3 touchdowns, 22 years old. Only 1 year of production. I think he had an injury in 2023, Ryan Perrio.
Another comp would be Gus Edwards. If Gus Edwards could catch, like he's got receiving hands. Like
Yeah.
he's even throws. He can even throw it. Like he absolutely is like a gadget guy back there. But he, if I would like to see him go to the Chargers so they have the Gus bus, and then they can bring in the
Yeah.
Scattabus. They could call him the Scattabus afterwards.
Beep, beep. Yeah, people are
Yeah,
getting out of the way if that's the
but
case. He did win
he,
the Peach Bowl MVP in a loss, Ryan Perrio.
yes, and like I said, it wasn't that he put that game into overtime. Like that game was lost until he actually drove them down the field 3 straight times.
Played
Like
quarterback for him.
yeah, played quarterback on one of the plays, like ran for 40 yards on another. Like they just by the way, Texas defense, which has what, maybe 3 or 4 first-round picks coming out of that lineup,
Yeah.
couldn't get him on the ground. And so that speaks volume. It wasn't like Arizona State was blocking it up. He was going through the Texas defense pretty much single-handedly.
Yeah.
Like he's got some very impressive tape. I'm just worried that he's going to have a workout where his measurables don't add up to the production, and he kind of gets pushed down a little bit just because he doesn't give them the numbers they want. But I think measurably wise, he's got all the measurables you want. I think his 40 time is really going to dictate where he falls in this ranking / draft class. But I think
Don't
someone's
run,
going to
Cam.
yeah.
Don't run.
Someone's getting a hell of a player regardless. Like
Yeah.
you look at Pacheco, 7th-round pick, and he is absolutely the lifeblood of the Chiefs running game. Without them, like they had to go out in the street and get Kareem Jackson, who kind of was good but faded at the end.
Yeah,
Like
I have faith that two teams are going to fall in love with Cam Skattebo. Just talk to the guy. Like he's unbelievable. I really, really enjoyed watching him. 38.5-inch vert. He one of the best verts in the class. So at the combine, I think he said he pulled a hamstring. I'm like, well, you did a broad jump and a vert. So I don't know. I'm a little bit of an expert on that, but there's some hip extension going on in all of those. So anyways, moving on to my number 2 running back in this class. And I